Welcome into BTW 21. I'm Chris Draper on the Sixth Man today, brought to you by AutosByNelson.com. Listen, I got my man Brandon Burnett with me as usual, and then we got a new guest. His name is DJ BEAL. You've seen him on the sidelines probably at your nearest and local game, but now I want to hear his take. I want to give him some FaceTime. I want to see what he thinks about this whole local sports ordeal with the Piedmont District. With that being said, let's kick off with this. Our BTW 21 Game of the Week. If you tuned in on TV, we got some highlights for you right now. It was Bassett's homecoming and the crowd was in full force. Searching for their first win of the season against Patrick County, quarterback Dylan McKinney would find Justin Taylor for a 62-yard bomb. Next up, running back Zakiel Mitchell would rush into the end zone for a touchdown of his own. Up 21-0, the game would soon become the Dylan McKinney show. From quarterback to safety, he snags a Hutchins pass and returns it to Cougar territory.
By number 7, Dylan McKinney on the opposite side of the ball. He said, let me get one and try to...
Before the half, two incredibly spectacular plays would be called back. First, Dylan McKinney would find Justin Taylor again. Taylor would make a man miss and walk into the end zone. And an eligible receiver downfield would set up this next unbelievable play.
And timeouts. Well, this will be fourth down and very long.
From Dylan McKinney, with his best Russell Wilson impression, juking and breaking through tackles, directing traffic, and throws it downfield, and it's tipped to Devin Clark for a touchdown. Bassett gets that monkey off their back and grabs the first win of the season, 35-0.
It's good to get the...
If you just now tuned into that highlight, man, basically what that was, we called that the Dylan McKinney highlight reel. And basically with that game, I mean, it was a blowout. It was totally a blowout. Dylan McKinney went off.
Yeah, 35-0. It was just an absolute pounding. I mean, I was really surprised because we just mentioned this on Facebook Live. We both thought this game was going to be close.
Yeah.
But right now, Bassett got their first win of the season.
They finally tasted a little that blood in the water.
Yeah, and also it's nice because that was their senior night.
Yeah.
That was their senior night, and they were able to, and they were also their homecoming.
Yeah.
That's kind of rare that you have your homecoming and your senior night on the same night.
You want to win on homecoming.
Yeah, that's right. You definitely want to win on homecoming, and especially when you're 0-6. But, you know, Dylan McKinney, unbelievable what he's able to do. Like I said, his offensive line has not been this strong, but he's able to do something and create things with his legs and his arm.
Well, with that being said, you know, Dylan McKinney able to create with his legs and his arm, showing you exactly what he can do when he actually has an offensive line blocking for him, whether it was throwing to his number one wide receiver, Justin Taylor, Coco Lobo also with a few catches as well, Trey Wimbush with a touchdown too on the evening, Zakiel Mitchell even getting in on the fun. But yeah, and then he also playing both ways, strong safety, catching an interception.
And one of the most amazing touchdown passes and catches was at the end of the first half, but it got wiped out by that penalty. 2
plays got wiped out by
that penalty. 2 touchdowns got wiped out by the same penalty.
And thankfully the DJ, we had them both on the sideline.
Yeah, I was watching on the sideline. It was crazy because I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, trying to keep up with everything. You know, obviously I was zoomed in. I had to zoom out a little bit, and I'm like, wow, trying to keep up with everything. Then they throw a flag on it. He does it again, and I'm watching Dylan in the backfield, and I'm just like, man, this man, he's got to be like one of the hardest quarterbacks to tackle, just moving around, finding any area he can find to get through and maybe take a run, make the pass, and it was amazing.
Yeah, what he's able to do, what he was able to do on both sides of the ball, not just on offense but on defense, to get 2 interceptions. I haven't seen somebody do that since Juan Thornhill at Alta Vista, and that's a very good comparison because Juan Thornhill was a heck of a quarterback over at Alta Vista, and now he's doing work at University of Virginia.
Yes, he is. He has to do work at University of Virginia at the end of the day. So with that being said, he's got to do some work. But with that being said, I mean, Bassett came away with the win 35-0. And then you had across the board, we thought this might be the BTW 21 Game of the Week. We certainly wanted to do it, but we also thought every game during that week would be a great game.
Oh, yeah.
However, with that being said, GW knocked Martinsville out the box 35-14. We learned later that Dasani Harrison, you know, I don't want to put him out there like that, but he wasn't available to play in the game, so he just wasn't able to. And that hurt him too, being that both their inside linebackers are out as well for Martinsville. So, and you're playing against possibly, and we'll get to this a little bit later, you're playing possibly against the best running back And the best backfield tandem in the Piedmont District was Sam Branch and especially Kayshawn Forrest, who is close, 700 yards close to beating David Wilson, who went to play for the Giants in Tech. I mean, he's close, man. So you're playing one of the best running backs in the district, and the GW is starting to heat up and catch fire finally. So with that being said, Martinsville did not come to play in that game. It started off well. I bet you it was a lot of troubles in that one, and they lost.
Well, they got down 14-0 almost right off the bat, and they were able to cut it to 14-6, and that's the closest it got after that. After that, it was all over. And I have to say I was surprised because I'll go ahead and face up to it.
Go ahead, face up to it.
I picked Martinsville.
You picked Martinsville to win. I picked GW. I hope Orion Martin and company aren't mad at me, man. Listen, I just see the writing on the wall. I tell it like it is. This is basically your first take, and I'm not going to shy away or pull any punches. GW got the win. You and Chad picked Martinsville to win.
Well, the sun shines on a dog's butt every now and again.
Every now and again. But listen, now, did I know that Dasani Harrison wasn't going to be in the game? No.
No, I didn't know it. No, I don't think any of us knew it.
No, none of us knew it. Did I know their inside linebackers were still out? Yes, I knew that as well. But listen, when you go to play at GW, I don't care who you are. We've seen some of the best Magna Vista teams lose at GW.
They haven't lost in over a year there.
Exactly, and GW is one of those teams, not only are you going to have to battle against GW, you're going to have to battle some officiating as well. So
yeah, we saw that
So listen, I'm sorry, but Martinsville giving a little of their home cooking on their own field, they probably got a little home cooking on GW's field. So, but I don't think they needed as much. Kayshawn Forrest had a field day. I mean, Kayshawn Forrest ran for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns off 31 carries. So
you know what's amazing? They had CJ Graves last year, and I swear to you, I think he's better than CJ Graves.
Yeah, you remember that Magna Vista game last year, the last game of the season? They played. Kayshawn Forrest did score against Magna Vista last year, if you remember that correctly. So, and then this week they'll play Bassett, which I'm pretty sure have a field day. I'll go ahead and say he might get 300 yards.
Well, the way the Bassett defense, they played great last week, but they did play Patrick County, so you have to remember that.
You got a young inside linebacking core, Kevon Smith, who's a freshman, young inside linebacking core on that. Seven Ziegler on the outside. He's a junior. Devin Clark as well on the outside. It's going to be tough for them to keep them at bay, as you've seen Bassett struggle against running backs going forward.
Well, they average giving up almost over 30 points a game.
Yeah.
So that's not good for them going into this game against a strong GW team. We saw that GW team last year play Bassett at Bassett, and they looked amazing. They looked so good in that game. And remember, that was just a week or two before that big GW Magna Vista game at the end of the year, which, believe it or not, that's coming up in just 2 weeks.
Exactly.
I am curious, though, since we're talking about Bassett's run defense. Now, Patrick County, they run the ball a lot. I would even say maybe too much. They get
over 6 minutes on that first drive.
Well, about 3 passes possible.
Yeah, I was watching the game and I'm like, wow, they're running the ball every single play. So do you feel like Bassett's defense maybe improved last week against the run when Patrick County's just going right at them?
I thought Patrick County had a lot of misdirection last week they started off with. And, yes, they got within the 10 a few times, right?
They did.
But penalties hurt them. Do I think Bassett's defense has improved against the run? Not more so. It's more of a game of momentum. Well, I would have to say as such. And that momentum kind of drove, as you've seen, Derek Jones was frustrated on the sidelines. I mean, we caught that on air. I mean, him basically throwing his stuff at the ground and everything like that. So I'm thinking, I don't think Bassett has improved against the run. I think they just showed you how good their offense can be at times, and just to pummel you into the ground when Dylan McKinney has time, because they do have that number one wide receiver in Justin Taylor. Big guy. He can jump in there. He can make some catches. And Dylan McKinney is one of the most elusive, if not most elusive, in the Piedmont District. He's creating like Russell Wilson.
He's very slippery.
So with what I'm saying is, do I think Bassett improved? No, I think they had an overall great day. Homecoming, a lot of momentum going into that game. It could have been different had Patrick County scored, because they were within the red zone about twice, at least at the beginning of the game.
Well, they were inside the 20-yard line on the opening drive over 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. That's how long that drive took, and they ran the ball. The only time they threw the ball was on 4th down.
And they actually got it, but it was an illegal man downfield. With that being said, it got brought back, and it was one of the longest. It was like second down and 40, I think it was, or 35.
Gosh, that was crazy.
So, because the coach got upset as well.
Yeah, got a 15-yard penalty on that.
What I'm saying is, it could have been a different game. Patrick County needed to open up the game just to allow their running game to flourish, because that misdirection was flourishing at the beginning.
They were using a triple option at first, too.
And it was flourishing. So, with that being said, Patrick County had a bad day at the office. Other game also in the Piedmont District that went on. Magna Vista won 34-14 against Franklin County. Scales ran for 159 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as Tunstall beat Halifax. Close game at Halifax, 15-12. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with some of the upcoming games in the Piedmont District, as well as who's the best backfield in the Piedmont District. We break it down. Chris, Brandon, and DJ coming up next on the 6 Man.
For Memorial Hospital of Martinsville and Henry County, hometown means commitment to our community. It can be seen in our mission to deliver high-quality care close to home, experienced through new services and cutting-edge technology, and felt in the dedication of our doctors and staff to their neighbors and friends. Memorial Hospital of Martinsville and Henry County. Hometown healthcare builds a healthy community.
The Cooper Tire Take the Money and Ride event is back this fall. Whether you're ready for a tailgate or to take a scenic drive, we can get you those tires. And also get a reward for up to $70 rebate on a purchase of a new set of qualifying Cooper tires. It's the perfect way to get your car ready for the season and score up to $70 prepaid card by mail. Quick Lube, serving you with 2 locations, Martinsville and Ridgeway.
I am Autos by Nelson.
I am Autos by Nelson.
I am Autos by Nelson.
I'm Autos by Nelson.
I am 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 Autos by Nelson.
Over 400 employees serving Martinsville and Henry County over 40 years.
We are Autos by Nelson.
Hey guys, it's Ashley and Travis here again at Everything Outdoors to remind you that fall is right around the corner. Now is the time to schedule your appointment for lime seeding and aerating. Fall is also prime time to plant your trees and shrubs. Less time watering means more time out there enjoying those cooler days. Does your lawn need a little makeover but you're not sure where to start? Take some photos and bring them down. Let us help you design the landscape that not only looks beautiful but will work well with your space. Here at the nursery, Mom's pansies and fall vegetables are growing and will be ready just in time as the summer winds down. Call or stop by and see us at Everything Outdoors.
The Smith River Sports Complex has the entire sports community talking.
Facilities are fantastic. I mean, no matter where you go in the country, you won't find as good of facilities as we got here in Martinsville.
Everyone is just so friendly and wants us to have a good time here.
I've never been on the field this great.
We run the Cardinal Cup lacrosse tournament here, and we absolutely love the venue. The fields are great, the amenities are great, the concession.
Martinsville Family Dentistry would like to invite you to experience Zoom. Zoom is a customized whitening experience that's created to make you look your best, give you dynamic results with a whiter, brighter smile in less than an hour. Over 10 million people have benefited from Zoom professional whitening treatment and have experienced the way a radiant smile can improve their self-confidence and their overall happiness. Patients have reported 5 to 8 shades whiter smile in just an hour. Martinsville Family Dentistry is taking new patients, so stop our office at 25 Cleveland Avenue, Suite A in Martinsville.
Have you been turned down for your Social Security disability benefits? I'm Ward Armstrong of the law firm of Armstrong & Armstrong Attorneys at Law, and we can help. My firm can guide you through the difficult process of filing a Social Security disability claim, and there's no fee unless we win your case. So if you've been turned down for your Social Security disability benefits or are thinking about filing a claim, give us a call. The number's on the screen. We're Armstrong & Armstrong Attorneys at Law.
Welcome back to the Sixth Man. I'm Chris Draper. He's Brandon Burnett, and that's DJ BEAL, our guest this evening. He might even incorporate him into the show going a lot forward, works the sidelines for us as well. Upcoming games in the Piedmont District this Friday. Looks like a lot of blowouts to me, just to be honest, man. I mean, like, you got Patrick County and Magna Vista. That's a blowout. Please, we ain't even going into that. So you got Bassett at GW. Bassett at GW, in my opinion, I think could definitely be a blowout still. Kayshawn Forrest, we've seen Bassett against that running game, and they have yet to prove they can stop a legit running game, whether it was Ty Moss with Lord Botetourt, or whether it was Chris Scales and Kendall Rupert with Magna Vista, or now you have probably the best running back you're going to face all year in Kayshawn Forrest, and Sam Branch is starting to come alive. So I'm sorry, I'm going to say Bassett gets blown out again. They got blown out last year by GW, and they're traveling to GW.
GW hasn't lost at home in 13 months.
Oh, man.
It's been a long time since they've lost at home. The last time they lost at home was to a very good Vance
just
team,
like Magna Vista,
North Carolina. That's right.
And that's going to be tested coming up. And then you got Martinsville and Tunstall. Tunstall has done a great job within the Piedmont District with a 4-3 record that they have. But in my belief, it is that Tunstall has not played anyone yet to par. And coming up is the rest of their schedule where they will face a Martinsville, a Magna Vista, and a Bassett. They have not played. They've played GW, and that's about it, in my personal opinion.
Well, they did play Rustburg.
And Dan River.
They did play Rustburg.
Yeah, Rustburg and Dan River. But in the Piedmont District, I really don't feel like Tunstall has played anybody, and I think they, other than GW, and I think they get their second taste of somebody this week. And Halifax was tough for them, but we've seen Halifax get dusted off.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking against Martinsville. Martinsville's going to come out to play. They're going to redeem themselves in Danville. They went to GW. They got to travel back down to Tunstall now, kind of in that Danville, Pittsylvania County area. Guess what? Martinsville gets the win, and I think they get it in convincing fashion.
And that's a tough matchup for
it really is.
For Tunstall.
It really is. I agree, DJ.
It's also a trap game for Martinsville, being that next week they'll play Bassett.
Yeah, that'll be their homecoming. That'll be their senior night game as well. And also, you have to keep in mind, last year they lost to Tunstall on a last-second field goal at home, and I think really cost them an opportunity to finish the season at 500. And I think they're going to have that in the back of their mind, like, we had a chance to beat these guys last year at our own place, and we lost on a field goal.
Well, I think Martinsville has a great chance to finish out the season 7-3.
They have a great opportunity because they have Tunstall, Bassett, and who's their last game again? I don't really know who their last game is.
I don't even know who their last game is against moving forward. We'll be at Magna Vista for that one. I think their last game of the season, if I check the schedule, is Patrick County. So it won't even matter. They should finish out the season now going forward. They should finish out 7-3 and have good seeding.
Which would be a great improvement because they only got, 3 or 4 wins last year?
Yeah. I mean, they got I think it was 4. If I'm not mistaken. I think it was 3. I think it was 4, but they got 4 wins. So I think Martinsville finishes out with a 7-3 record, and they finish out with good seeding to where they host at least 1 or 2 games in the 2A tournament, and that's going to help them out moving forward. They
won't be on the road this time.
And they won't have to play a team like Appomattox or Buckingham or Dan River first and foremost.
And I wouldn't want to play Appomattox right now.
Not right now.
That win they got early in the season against Magna Vista, I really think that gave them a little more momentum this year.
You're talking about Martinsville?
Yeah, Martinsville.
Well, Martinsville didn't beat Magna Vista.
Oh, they didn't?
No. Magna Vista won.
No,
that was a tough game. It was 51-38. You're right. It was close, but
it was a close game, and it was the longest high school football game I've ever been to.
Yeah, 51-38. Also, the last game we got is Halifax at Franklin County. Do I think Halifax could turn this into a pretty good game? They could, depending on if they play and run out the time of possession like they did against Magna Vista against Franklin County. But Franklin County also has Tyrese Clark, who's almost at 1,000 yards. I mean, he's at 1,000 yards rushing. First running back in Franklin County to do it since 2011. So,
well, I had to ask, where is the game at?
The game's at Franklin County, so I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to Franklin County.
Same with me. What about you? What about you, DJ?
I would say Franklin County.
County.
At home, they're a tough team anyway.
They gave Magna Vista a good game last week.
Yeah.
They really did. I mean, the game ended up being 34-14.
Yeah.
But, it was a close game. The final score was very deceiving.
All right, so you got that. You got the game of the week. Of course, Magna Vista is sitting at 5-2. GW at 5-2. The top of the district is rounded out just like we thought it would. Magna Vista and GW sitting high. Then you have Tunstall and Martinsville right at that second tier, each with 3 losses on the season. Then Franklin County, Halifax, Bassett, and Patrick County rounding it all off. Bassett finally creeping in, getting themselves a win over the top of Patrick County. I think Franklin County could finish the season at 500 as well. But with that being said, we got one of these questions, man. I haven't done my poll yet, and I probably will on my Twitter. But if you're going to look at it, we've done the best quarterback in the Piedmont District. But, you know, what's the best backfield in the Piedmont District? If you're tuned in on Facebook Live, please chime in. But I'm going to give you guys a little bit of history on the Piedmont District right now. So you got at GW Danville, you got Kayshawn Forrest, who's averaging 225 yards a game. And he's closing in on David Wilson's 2,291 yards. I got that stat written down because he's at 1,577 along with 17 touchdowns. So he's getting off to an amazing start. And Sam Branch
he's got an opportunity for 2,000.
Exactly. So, and then you got Zakiel Mitchell at Bassett. Zakiel hasn't been able to do much because of that offensive line, but when he's been able to hit that outside, he can burst into a lot of speed. And they run Trey Wimbush in that backfield as well. So that's a great backfield to have. Then you got that two-headed monster in Martinsville of the Harrison, the cousins right there, man. Yeah. Xanthus Harrison, Dasani Harrison, some of the best backfield we've seen. Especially we saw them run all over Magna Vista as well. Mm-hmm. And we've seen Xanthus go for 200 yards or more. So
yeah, he definitely has
they're definitely up there. And then you have that two-headed monster with hot dogs and cupcakes with Chris Scales and Kendall Rupert, man. So Chris Scales and Kendall Rupert basically. I mean, that's a two-headed monster in itself. Chris Scales coming off of 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kendall Rupert, one of those through the tackles, run you over type of guys, stay low to the ground, keep those feet moving. And I think that's a great combination as well. Then you have at Franklin County, you have Tyrese Clark, who's already at 1,000 yards. He doesn't really have to share the load too much like these other backs I've mentioned. Then you have, I honestly, and I haven't seen them much, but against Bass, they were able to do some damage. Tyler Stanley and Tyvin Martin for Patrick County were able to do some damage. That big Tyvin Martin was a big boy, and Tyler Martin running to that outside was amazing too. And then you got Halifax. We don't give that man enough credit, but Jamal Brandon did a wonderful job against Magna Vista, and he's been doing a good job all year. But I've announced basically, except for the Tunstall running back, I'll leave that alone. Good old Tunstall. My bad. But with that being said, who do you think's the best running back duo, tandem, backfield in the Piedmont District? DJ, after I gave you all that, who do you think, man? I mean, you've seen a little bit of it because you got with us a little late.
Yeah.
But, you've read in the Martinsville Bulletin. Mm-hmm. You've kept up with the Piedmont District. Yeah. It's your home, too. So who do you think first? Who you going to go with?
When I look at it, a lot of what I've seen, I've liked a lot of what Chris Scales has done this year. Okay. I go to church with him, so I've stood beside him, and I'm man,
you gonna play that
conflict of interest.
I love Chris Scales too.
It might be a conflict of interest here.
Me and his daddy cool. Me and that family cool.
Yeah,
but I gotta keep it real. Go ahead.
I like him.
I love Chris.
I do. I love the man.
You got my name for God's sake.
That's true. Yeah. But I just feel like
you, Chris, to stick together.
I feel like GW does have a strong tandem from what I just heard.
Sam Branch. Kayshawn Forrest.
Chris
Scales is strong
yet.
Yeah, Chris Scales is strong. He shares with Kendall Rupert, so it's Kendall Rupert. But after what you just heard out of the yards, now don't get me wrong. I think Chris Scales and Kendall Rupert could achieve just as much.
Yeah.
But Magna Vista has gone to the air.
Oh, yeah.
That Mach 4, they got the best wide receiving core in the district. I ain't even got to name that off. They got the best wide receiving core in the district. But we talking about running backs, baby. What you got?
I got to go with GW.
You got to go with Kayshawn Forrest,
they're trying to catch
good luck at church.
David Wilson,
Good luck at church. Good luck at church, bro. All right, now. Brandon, who you got, baby?
Same, GW. I've kept up with GW.
Y'all know Brandon from Danville, right? All right. Hey, I just let you know, he's from my man, Chatham.
I'm from
Dry Fork.
I'm from Dry Fork.
Next to Tunstall.
I went to Chatham.
All right, now. Go ahead, Brandon.
I don't have as much love for GW.
All right, you got it, baby.
But no, the thing is, with GW, what they have with Kayshawn Forrest is, I mean, they just have these running backs almost like they come off conveyor belts.
C.J. Graves last year.
C.J. Graves, and you had David Wilson before that. It's just unbelievable talent they have in that
he's about to catch David Wilson.
He's about ready to. I mean, like I said, there's a good possibility the way these last 3 games are shaping up, he will get over 2,000 yards. But, you know, getting back to what I was saying, I've kept up with this team to keep my eye on them for that last game of the year against Magna Vista.
That's going to be where we see it.
And we are going to find out. A line is going to be drawn in the sand. We are going to find out who has the best backfield that day. But I do think...
y'all, okay, all right, Doug telling me we got 2 minutes left. We're going to find out who the best backfield is in that day. But, man, how come y'all didn't even represent? Like, don't worry. Given my background, it would seem like I'm a little biased because I'm not a Martinsville Bulldog fan. Everybody that knows me within the district knows I can't be. I mean, they cost me a state championship, for God's sakes. However,
I didn't know that.
However, it cost me and my team 06 Bassett. That's a little bit of history right there. But
I never knew you went to Bassett, man.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Anyways, though, with that being said, man, why we ain't mentioned Xanthus Harrison and Dasani Harrison like they've been running over the Piedmont District this year? I know we mentioned Chris Scales and Kendall Rupert.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen them as much this year because they've only had 4 home games.
Yeah, but every game I've read in the Martinsville Bulletin, they've been running over everybody.
I know. What's crazy is we three have not seen GW in person.
Exactly, we're picking Kayshawn Forrest, and I understand that the numbers do it justice because numbers don't lie.
That's right.
Yeah. Numbers don't lie. However,
just like the ball don't lie.
And then don't get me wrong, Chris Scales, Kendall Rupert, man, I love those guys. They've been doing their thing, but that Mach 4 is taking over for that offense. And Akira Greenfield, Austin Perkins. Haven't even seen Austin Perkins. They're still winning. So we haven't even seen Magna Vista at their fullest potential. I think they're waiting for GW just a little bit. But
I can't wait for that game.
If I got to pick the best running back in the Piedmont District, man, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this one.
Oh, it's going to hurt.
Oh, it's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt.
But I think the kids respect me, man, and they'll prove me wrong regardless when we show up. Right now, the numbers don't lie, baby, and he gets the most touches. It's got to be Kayshawn Forrest, right?
He is doing what
man.
He was doing what Jock Harrison did last year.
Yeah, I mean, I can't deny that. I picked Jock last year. Numbers don't lie. I got to go with Kayshawn Forrest. We haven't even. We saw him last year, and I saw the potential. I saw him break to the outside on Magna Vista and run for one. But the way he just did Martinsville,
he's just exploded. He's exploded since he became the main running back.
Yeah, he's out for blood, man. So it's a unanimous decision. Looks like we go Kayshawn Forrest. It's neck and neck with Chris Scales, Kendall Rupert, Xanthus Harrison, and Dasani Harrison. We got love for Zakiel Mitchell too. We know the line you facing.
That's right.
You know, and Tyrese Clark and Tyler Stanley and Tyvin Martin, man. Jamal Brandon. Listen, but we gonna take Kayshawn Forrest, man. Y'all chime in on Facebook Live, opinions that you have, man. I think we filled it up talking about the Piedmont District today. We don't know what the game of the week will be. We'll announce that a little bit later. But, hey, thank you guys for tuning in to the Six Man. We definitely appreciate it. I'm Chris Draper. He's Brandon Burnett. That's my man, DJ BEAL. Thank y'all for tuning in. Good day, and God bless.
Loan specialist. Usually that's someone who fights for your signature then sells your loan to Never Never Land, never to speak with you again. At Martinsville First Savings Bank, we don't sell our loans, and we're locally owned and operated, so all decisions are made at 25 West Church Street in Uptown Martinsville. We've been serving the South Side since 1924. Proof that serving you remains our focus. For more information, call 276-638-8771 or visit martinsvillefirst.com. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
Your local news is brought to you in part by Radial. For more career opportunities in Martinsville, visit radial.com.
Crowds in Midtown today mean only one thing.
Everyone is ready for the next-gen iPhone. And so is Verizon, with the only next-gen network that lets you make the most of it. LTE Advanced delivers 50% faster peak speeds to over 450 cities coast to coast. The next-gen iPhone deserves the next-gen network. And right now, get our best offer ever, an iPhone 7 on us.
I am Autos by Nelson.
I am Autos by Nelson. I am Autos by Nelson.
I'm Autos by Nelson.
I am 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 Autos by Nelson.
Over 400 employees serving Martinsville, Henry County over 40 years.
We are Autos by Nelson.